Ya, untuk memulai, mungkin kita karena ada 6 pertanyaan ya, sehingga mungkin karena dan 5 kelompok, jadi urutannya karena kelompok 1 dan 4 sama ya berarti pertanyaannya ya, jadi bisa mungkin 1 dan nanti 4, terus kemudian 1, 2, 3, 4 ya 2, 5, terus kemudian baru 3. Jadi mungkin setiap kelompok nanti kita beri waktu presentasi 10 menit dan diskusi 5 menit, yang terus kemudian dilanjutkan ke kelompok berikutnya. Baik ya, so well, I think we should start now. Next, so we kindly request group 1 to give the presentations of the result from yesterday's discussions. Silakan Bapak Ibu yang dari kelompok 1. Wakil dari kelompok 1.
An ethical consideration that will be govern the network. This is our discussion result. The number 1 is must be, if you want to make a network, a new network, must be there is a data about how to protection about the sample and the human resources. And then the second is type of the data. And then the third is data used in research, what for the data is, and then how to data management, and then how to share to each other biobank network. And then the most important is from our discussion yesterday is subject right, how is the sample statement, and how to make a same informed consent. And for example is how to the status of if need a research by the like a genetic information, and from resources source of specimen collection or from the field or from the another country or another lab, and then the owner of the association from how to the sample is came from. Our discussion is who should be the stakeholder about the biobank network. The number 1 is we aspire become 3. The first is professional. Professional means is the number 1, the first who collected the sample, it must be a clinician. And the second is lawyer. Lawyer is will be needed to the regulation. And the third is industrial or pharmacy. It's supposed to be to the funding and to the resources, and then to the maybe to build up new laboratories. And the last is researchers. And the second is the researchers can be came from the academic, from the public sector, and our group is make a special issue for the general population. Yeah. The second is from the institutional government will be need the stakeholders. The first is in Indonesia, its name is Kemenristek or Ministry of Health, and the second is the university, hospital or another clinics, and the last is research institute, maybe like Ekman Institute or another institute, and so on and so on. And the last is society. Society, our group must be focused to the social, and then rigorous leader. It's supposed to be to the how from the human right from the beside from the human society. And this is our result discussion yesterday. Thank you very much and good morning.
So thank you for those insights. Can I have one question? And if you could go back one slide. So just the one thing I notice here is that industry and pharmaceutical companies are only involved in one. I think you will find that they can also be an inspiration for many really translational research, like how do you get from research into society, because they will be the ones that translate it into a market proposition. So I think you should look further than only funding. They are a good source of funding, but they're also a good source of innovation. So that's the one thing I would really add to your excellent insights, because I think you covered most topics very well. You include the professionals, you include the institution, you include the population. Also the fact that you include a religious representation, I think is very important because it's close to your culture. So super, I think it's very well done. The only thing is I would give industry and pharmacy a little bit more room to also engage you in really translational research. I think you want to add something, right?
Yeah,
Please.
That's a good idea. Also, I would like to say also that shall we go to the first slide? I'm not sure whether I missed it. It's there. Please. No, the first slide. The one before that. The one before that. Okay. So, did you mention ethics committees? But also, interesting you talk about lawyers. I think lawyers are very important, but we should be very careful with lawyers. They're very theoretical. And maybe we want to include ethicists. They might be very interesting for us. Lawyers, fine, but be careful with lawyers.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's interesting. Okay, so the next group, masih ada lagi, Pak. Ya, silakan Dr. Gunadi.
Thank you. The fourth group, right? In the fourth group, say that the researcher regarded as a stakeholder as well. So, what kind of role in this stakeholder? I mean, the researcher itself as a stakeholder. Thank you.
Silakan.
Yes, thank you. I think direct answer, the researcher as a user. Yeah, I think that's the answer. Thank you.
Okay. Satisfied, Dr. Nadia? Okay. Any other questions?
Some additional things from other group who also do number 1 and number 2. Maybe we can show our slides.
Yeah. Okay, so then.
Yes.
So should we invite them to give the presentation also, right? Yeah.
Or maybe we just add
Okay, so
how we should present.
in order to be fair, then it's also better to give the presentation.
For the fairness.
Bisa kita revisi.
We are from group 1. Have to get a question about first what are the regulation of the policy and the ethical consideration that will govern the network, and the second one is who should be the stakeholder and discuss the different category of the stakeholders. So for the answer number 1, so it thinks that the regulation that we must to think is about this data security, confidentiality, and sustainability plan about the biobank. So this is the important things that we must do about the policy. And for the stakeholders, there are relevant part of will involve in the stakeholder. First is clinicians. Second is researchers. That is also include the medic and non-medic researchers, ethical committee, and then the education on research ministry, Ministry of Health, Law and Human Rights Ministry, Ministry of Finance, collegium and professional organization, journalists that will spread our research or our everything about the biobank, community leader and religious leader, and also the important part is a pharmaceutical company. So that's the stakeholder that we must consider about when we develop network in biobank. Thank you.
We develop a biobank, of course, we have to think about the sustainability of this system and these facilities. So we have to think about how to get funding and also how to have a good infrastructure. So we have to how to develop the governance. We should put this on the an important item, I think. Yeah.
Oke. Ya. Ada lagi Bapak Ibu? Any?
So I compliment you again. Very well done. Can you go to the next slide, please? Oh, it's yours, right? Okay, thanks. So this is very thorough. It's I compliment you. You've really given it great thought, and I think you include almost everyone that I would think of. But I would miss one group that is not represented here, and is very easily forgotten. And I wonder if the audience can spot it. I know Maimuna has spotted it. It's one that we always forget about.
Yesterday?
Patients organization or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes, but I don't know. This is exists in Indonesia or not? Exists.
Especially based on the disease. Yeah, like for example, in Yogyakarta we have the Association of NPC Patients. For example, we have that, and also the Association of the leukemic patient, but this is from the childhood leukemic, so they are the parents of the leukemic patients. They also have associations with it.
Patients. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I share something about patient group? And I think Bert is very correct to bring that up. And this is something you can be thinking of. You talked about NPC patients. In Europe, one of the important, and America as well, one of the important patients group that biobankers are working with, because they are very proactive, is the rare disease group patient. And when we say rare disease, especially for cancer, it's the cancers that are not very common and are usually in families, so you will get more families related. They are really working. They go to biobanks. They knock on the biobank's door and say, we want to participate. And they search for researchers who will be doing research to find for solutions for them. And they are very strong. So here perhaps it would not be so much rare disease, but common diseases like chronic diseases, diabetics, HCV, chronic vascular disease people or so on. But it's important to think about those groups.
Thank you.
Group 2. Ya, grup 2 ya. Silakan.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm representing the group 2 to present you. We are having the questions number 3 and number 4. The questions is could you suggest ways to facilitate collaborations between biobanks, researchers, and institutions so it can cover the whole spectrums of biobanking? And this is our answers. Before we are having the biobank networking, so we have to gather together in the same ways to discuss about what should we do and what should we do then by having discussions by the researchers, and then we are gathering with the hospitals, with the university or other institutions. This group would like to discuss about the how the networking is easy to be built. So we have to discuss about the stakeholder networking and also collecting data and management data, and also the data analysis. And of course, if we would like to build the biobanking networking, so we have to build the memorandum of understanding, the rules, the regulations, the laws, the proposals, and others. By having this group or even the small group as initiators, I think not as the association yet, but as any initiators, they have to discuss it all. Then they are establishing the networking in a small groups. Then they are sharing the informations and jump to the number 4 because it's closely related. The number 4 is, could you identify the responsibilities or activities that should be resolved in such networking? This, the result of our discussions, after having the small group or initiators of biobanking networking establishings, we have to do some continuously workshop or training to share the our goals to build the biobanking networking itself, because we are realized that not all the universities or not all the institutions have the biobanking, or even they have the biobanking, they do not know how to connect each other to the other institutions or universities. So by having the workshop like this, or training, so we can gather together and we connect each other to the other institutions or universities. And then of course we have to publish, because we already realized also that the group 1 or group 4 share us about the who is the stakeholder. The one of the stakeholders is the social communities. So we have to publish that we have the biobanking. The institutions A have the biobanking, institution B have the biobanking, and so on and so forth. So by publish, so the community know that institutions or any kind of university have the biobanking, and then share the benefit also. And then we have to follow up the training or the workshop, because we have to build the networking step by step. So we have to follow up. Then this is our main proposal for you all, that we have to make any kind of website that consists of some informations about the membership, maybe institution A, institution B, and so on, so forth, hospital A, hospital B, and so on, so forth. And then we also report our progress by continuously training our staff itself. For example, like this, we are proposing the website establishment. For example, Universitas Gadjah Mada have the biobanking at the Faculty of Medicine, also the Universitas Jenderal Sudirman have the biobanking at the Faculty of Medicine. So they have to share the infrastructures maybe, or even the what kind of sample they are preserved, what kind of activities they have done, what kind of sample that can be used for translational research and others. So we can easily get some informations. Maybe UGM would like to conduct any translational research, and then they need the sample from UGM, from UGM hospital, and so on. So UGM is like to trash to get this information they need to conduct the translational research. That's all our presentation. I'm really sorry for any mistake I've done because I'm not really realized that we have to make any PowerPoint on others to present you. Thank you and good morning, everybody.
Congratulations, you covered everything. So I'm going to pick on one thing. And yeah, I think it's great, very comprehensive, but something is missing. I don't know whether Bert can spot it. Now you're on the test. Okay. One area that I think, I thought you would follow up from what we said earlier, but one area I think is missing is, and I congratulate you that you're going to develop a website, that's very good, but feedback to the community. And you said very nicely that you would obviously organize these projects and get samples, that's fine. But one important area that we biobankers forget is giving the community some results, some feedback on what we've been doing with their samples that they've been giving us. The website is good, but websites are not really accessed by non-scientific people or people who are not really that literate. And it might be a good idea to start thinking on, when you conduct studies or when you're planning studies in a community, I think you have the same like they do in Africa, where we go and talk to religious leaders and community leaders to say we want to start a study. We should be able to go back to them after the end of the study to say thank you very much and blah, blah, blah. And this is what we found. And if you find interesting aggregated information, it's not individual information, to say this community, we find that there are some issues, but we will come back to the individuals and so on. So somewhere near the communication and feedback, perhaps some community engagement or feedback to the community will be useful.
Okay, thank you for your suggestions and additional information. Yeah, we already thinking about how the community can access what we have done, what we would like to do, and what kind of sample we preserve and all so on by accessing the website itself. And that's why we are proposing that we have to publish. We have to publish and we have to share the benefit. This one, we have to publish and share what the kind of benefit that the community can get by joining or volunteering their samples to preserve in the biobank itself. Or maybe my friend in group 2 would like to add some information, please. Okay, thank you.
I think it was very comprehensive. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. One question. I want to ask you, where is the committee, I say steering committee, whatever the name of biobank in this position? I mean, who will decide to accept that this collaboration will accept the collaboration, will decide to accept the collaboration? Thank you.
Okay, maybe I'm not well presenting you this kind of flowchart. As we know that university institutions or even hospital have their own committee or even ethics committee, maybe. Then as we propose that they have to send their delegation or representative for each university, institution, or hospital to gather in one group or small groups, and then they make a kind of association.
Excuse me, do you suggest that the committee is different part from biobank?
Are just like a kind of steering committee, or what? No. Biobank, I think in here, the general group inside the group consists of biobankers, researchers, and then committee. That committee would like to decide what kind of policy, what kind of regulations they have to implement to their members. I think, or maybe would like to add some information for me. Yeah. So as we know that some association in Indonesia is established by conducting any kind of training workshops together. For example, the Microbiology Association in Indonesia or Mycology or others, they are establishing a kind of associations step by step by conducting any workshops or others. So when the association of the biobanking was established, so they have the committee and others to build law regulations, decisions maker or others. If there are any feedback, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions, Provi? Yeah. Well, I think that was very good presentations, and now we invite Group 5. Please, Group 5.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Faridha Saputra from Group 5. This is okay. We have discussed about the question number 3 and 4, and for the question number 3 about the way to facilitate collaboration, we have an answer about making an Indonesian Association of Research Biobank. It's kind of make a network of biobank in Indonesia that contain multidisciplinary approach. Example, public health, clinicians, pharmacists, nurse, dietitian, biologists, and etc. Includes institution, research, and stakeholder. And next, for number 4, about responsibility or activities that should be recited in such network. The first, advocation to decision makers and stakeholders about the important biorepository for the future that can help especially government to making decisions about their policy. Second, facilitate samples, browsing and promote collaboration. And number 3, decide ethics, regulation, law, including material transfer agreement or MTA. The 4, general guidelines that can harmonize biobank in Indonesia, like standard operational procedure from taking samples, labeling and coding, transport, storage, and data management. That's all. Thank you very much.
Ya. Baik, ya kalau if not then we can ask group 3 to give the presentations. So ya, enggak, ini yang berbeda grupnya. So the question is, could you identify a common project that network of biobank in Indonesia can adopt to establish a network? And if you are given 100,
we are from group 3. We have the question is, could you identify a common project that network of biobank in Indonesia can adopt to establish a network? I'm sorry, the answer in Bahasa. The project for the, we think that the first time is the project to make the standardization of the each biobank, such as like to the make standardization on SOP, guidelines, protocols, and also quality control. And the second one is because the core in biobank is a good quality of the samples, so the next project is to do the standardization of the collecting sample, which is for this historical sample and also for the prospective. And the third is to develop a network collaboration with international biobank institution, maybe like BCNet or other institution. Next slide. And other is to make the collaboration sustainable, to share experience between institution in Indonesia, because in Indonesia we have several institution that has start to collect sample, has the and they have already have a SOP, or other institution just beginning to start to develop a biobank. So sharing experience and also to discussion about the ethical legal problem in biobank, and also about sharing about the research project and also finance. And the next is we have to do the advocation for the stakeholder about the biobank, and also and also about the ethical legal problems. And the next is we have to make a reviewer committee. Who's the one who has the can do the standardization about our protocol, quality assurance, and also in management of information in a biobank. The next slide. And last questions, if you are given 10 million rupiahs to start a national network of biobank in Indonesia, what would be your priority in establishing the network? So we think that we should start with a workshop and training about the standardization of a biobank to make a great output about the SOP guideline and etc. And also the seminars and workshop with the stakeholders to strengthen our capacity building. Thank you.
To say something? Yeah.
So thank you, and I think you did an excellent job in thinking of the ways to spend this 100 million rupiah. I always have problems concept-wise, like 100 million. I can change the world. 100 million. This is endless, but of course it's actually quite limited. So doing a workshop and training, I think that's the best plan in the world. So that's why we're doing it right now. So great of you guys that you initiated this. But I love the fact that you then make that next step, doing something to involve the stakeholders, because I think now we are not really representing all the stakeholders here now. I think we have maybe researchers, doctors and facilitators from a biobank organization, so we have a mixture. And I think it would be very good if we do a third national workshop at some point in time, that we think about how we may be able to involve them. Maybe not in the whole program, but maybe that if you can do something like in a day 1 or a day 2 combined program, that you involve some more of these stakeholders. Like in the morning session yesterday, we had the finance dean of the UGM about the activities and be involved in the whole process. So great idea, good way. If I would be able to sponsor it, but anyway.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Any others probably? Well, I think it's a really wonderful presentations, and yeah, I do agree that it's can be hopefully follow up to other actions. So personally, I think that all of the presentations can be also compiled into the action plan document, that the aim to make the network can be realized. And yeah, I think we should do this. Okay, so well, thank you very much to all of the presentators and also the audience.